welcome back to another video of a sketchbook tour. This is my sketchbook from last year, and it's also my first Inktober, and there's some pieces I did that are actually in my book. All right, let's get started. My first few pages of my sketchbooks tend to be kind of a workout any issues I have with my materials, such as these are Primsacolors, and I found out some like to go through paper more than others. The blues not so much, but the reds and oranges and things they will go through a lot. Also found out there's some black ink that I have that doesn't transfer through. So that's a good thing. And then just kind of working out any issues or quick ideas that I have. So the first picture I have is a pen and ink drawing using microns here. I think I just used, looks like just one. And I did do pencil on it first and then went back and inked it. Just kind of get a feel for the tools in question. And this is that. So, and this is a canal in Venice and the bridge. This was a picture that I saw somebody do, but I changed it so it looked a bit more of something that was me. I love the door and the idea of a shaman or something sitting in the middle of it. So that's what I did. She did it differently, and I can't remember the artist's name. I'm so sorry. But this is not a finished drawing. This is just a concept piece in my sketchbook with the rabbit and the shaman and tea and cards and things of that nature. So I have a very big interest and love for Harley Quinn. My car is even decked out in Harley Quinn, but from the Batman the animated series. Stuff going forward, not so much, but specifically old school Harley Quinn. So you'll be seeing a lot of her, as you can tell. There she is again. These were done with Primsacolor markers. Here's a concept idea for a mermaid, trying to get more into detail. After having severe burnout from college and taking years to get over that burnout, I am making myself do the stuff that I think is piddly, even though it's important, the detail work. This, there's not much detail. I think it's about as detailed as you get right there, and maybe some eyes and what have you. But, this the jewelry and the little fingers and the webbing between it can get, like, oh, I don't want to do that, but you need to make yourself do that and get through and push through that art block and that not wanting to do it. So this is what sketchbooks generally should be for. Sketchbooks are for making, jotting down ideas, coming up with concepts, working out problems, finding what works and what doesn't work, and a place, to put your ideas. Finished artworks, not so much, but definitely your concepts. So I know that about sketchbooks, and that's where I was going to go with this. But what happened was, because of my burnout and the bad habits that I had of just not doing it, I ended up having to do something kind of drastic, and that was Inktober, which made you do it every single day. And I put that in this sketchbook. Even though this is supposed to be for concepts and what have you, it just was not working out for me. Here we are in Inktober 2019. So my first one was Ring. And mind you, I do these in pencil first. I'm not confident with this whole Inktober thing. So one day I'll get there, but for right now, and this is 2020, so for right now, it's not going to work out with just doing it by pen. Though from time to time it does. I'll show you where it does. But these type of pen, no. So I penciled this down and then inked it in. This is this gold watercolor. Love this stuff. Man, it's definitely gold. Florio, and it's handmade in Germany by Fine Tech. These are just awesome. If you can get this, I would totally recommend it. You see, I have my favorites here, but they're all spectacular, and I'll show that off here. I also, this doesn't show quite as brilliantly as the Florio, but Doc Martens Copper Plate Gold. This has been a lot of fun to use as well, and shows up pretty good. It's just not as shiny as the other. So as you see, I've used that quite a bit. So this one was Ring. So she's kind of an acrobatic fairy on a ring. This is mindless. Now this is where I break my rule. So I had originally said that I tend to pencil things in. I'll pencil it in first and then go back over the top of it. This is the exception to the rule. All this is, and I did this in college, by the way, so I went, I'll do this again. All this is a Walt Disney World Resort ballpoint pen. It's cheapy. It's something they give you when you sign in, or something that, you know, you get from the hotel room. It's just, and that's how I did this. You don't need anything expensive to be able to create pieces of art. Ballpoint pen is fantastic because it can give you really, really dark darks, or the really, really light little subtleties. It has that ability. Kind of like a pencil, not stuck with just one darkness. It's gradation. So it's so useful for creating things like this, because you can get into these where it's practically you can't see it. So that's what I used for mindless. That's the name of this piece. And she, as you can see, is a zombie. And here's some of that gold I was talking about. It picks up the light so well. Bait was this day. I think it was the third day. Are we on 3? Yeah, third day. I just did sake. That's what I was drinking at the time, and I called it a day. Probably a bad day, but I do love sake, so there's the sake. For 4, we have Freeze. Freeze is Madonna from Frozen. This is a stop still from her video. I have issues with it, but I think this was another one I didn't do in pencil first, so pretty good for just, once again, just your regular old ballpoint pen here. And then I think it was some thicker, like one of these, like a brush pen on top of that. I don't know if you can see that, but, and then some just watercolor in the background, since the video was blue. Build is a number 5, and I did a built, so excuse me, but the built witch's house in a little forest here with another shiny gold moon and stars. And once again, I really got onto a thing with my Walt Disney Resort's ballpoint pen here. Here we have Husky. Now he's a derpy looking husky because his eyes are too close together. At least I know what I did wrong. And if I ever did this again, I know to space out the eyes a bit more. Here we have Enchanted, and that was day 7. Or that Art Nouveau kind of turn of the century feel to this. I'm using some of those golds. I used different ones on this one from the looks of it. And they're so shiny and they're so pretty. I don't find this one as successful as some of the others I've done in here, but that's what Inktober is to make you work, make you go and think out of the box and push through some of that block. At least it did for me, and that's what I was using it for. I like the concept. I'm not so happy with my execution. This one is Frail. For day 8. Now this is my first idea of Frail. I like it now that I looked at the time. I didn't, but she's supposed to be very thin, emaciated, with her thin, emaciated cat. And I decided I didn't want to ink that. I thought it was too small to ink. I'm not as precise and intricate as I want to be. I'm kind of like a bull in a china closet when it comes to inking. So I needed something a bit bigger. So I decided that the cat would be something better to focus on. And so his name is Anubis, and I love him, and I'm using him even today in drawings and things, because I just think he's so cool. And he's a Sphinx cat, and of course naked, and they're so pretty, interesting looking. I just love them to death. So that's my Sphinx cat for Frail. He's something I used on for one of my Redbubble designs. So. Swing. Once again, another zombie, and another one of those ballpoint pen. And just gold for the rope. I like zombies. I like doing zombies because they're so fun to just put in random bits of bleh and to work out, you know, where things go, and muscles and veins and meat and bone. And it's a lot of fun to just kind of play around with and doodle. That's what I did for Swing here. As you see, he wasn't purposefully hung. This was an accident, and it probably took a while because his arm got hung up in there. So this one was for pattern. This is a cop out. This is day 10. I don't like this one because I just copped out. I didn't have an idea, so I have ideas now, but a little late. It's a year later. So Anyway, that was pattern. Snow, that was for day 11. And that's just my version of Jack Skellington, which is pretty much Disney's version, but just kind of, that's why I thought it was snow. It was a snowflake when you first saw this snowflake. You know, what's this? Next day, day 12 was dragon, and I did one of the lighter. You can see exactly which one I used for this one, and you can see when it dries how shiny it is. I just love it. So that's my dragon on a golden egg. 13 was Ash. We all know what happened to Spider-Man. So this is that moment when he's on the ground panicking with Iron Man as he's turning to dust, or to ash. I thought it looked kind of ashy, so there we go. Tom Hiddleston, Spider-Man, turning to ash. Oh, that one's, yeah, this one's another ballpoint pen and ink, because I really like the ballpoint pen. Another ballpoint pen. This one's called Overgrown. I saw a picture on the internet, which was just the door and this area right here. The rest of it, I just kind of put in there. It made sense. Yeah, I really like it. I'm really happy. I needed to push my darks a bit with the ballpoint pen, a bit more. You couldn't really tell I was getting too bored with this until you get up here. Because this, when it gets all, you know, you don't take your time as much. And that's another thing, learning to take your time. I see where I didn't and where I could improve. The rest of it, I took my time and I laid it out. And that's what we got for Overgrown. This one is Legend, and this is Lily from Legend. Something quick and easy. This is watercolor and ink. One of my microns, of course, the gold watercolor and silver watercolor. Wild. That was day 16. I really couldn't think of for something that day. I can now, but that day I just was completely, had no idea. So I drew a wild rabbit who's looking rather worried. This is ink, watered down ink, the gold watercolor, and microns. So as you can see, that's her. And this was done ornament, and she was done with microns and this piece here. Love this for black in the back. I'm not really sure what it is. I just picked it up at Michael's, and I love this. This is it does the job. It creates really black. And I put, you know, I just used the jelly roll for the stars and for some of the little intricacies. And this, I think, was just the Primsacolor markers that I used real quick on this. But these will definitely come through. And like I said, just the jelly roll, which I hate. I hate these. And whatever this is, I hate this too. These Uniball, they gunk up so quickly. I don't recommend. I'm trying to look into inks and things that'll actually work for whites. And these two I don't recommend right now. So this was ornament, and I started drawing a Christmas ornament. It just went another direction for me and turned into a witch and a witch's hat. And I ended up really loving this. There was no reference. There's only a couple of references I've actually used so far, but there was no reference or anything. It's just completely out of my brain, and my friends and family and some random people have actually loved this. So yeah, and you can find this for sale on my Redbubble. So this is what I'm talking about with alcohol markers bleeding through in the Moleskine books. So just be aware of that when you use it. So I tried to make lightning strike twice. Because this bled over, I decided to just make it an attempt. If it turned out, great. If it didn't. And not as strong. Not as strong as you can see. So Witch on Vacation, and it's called Misfit, and I think I can do better. I think I can definitely do better. But anyway, that's my Witch Misfit on Vacation. Sling, not a zombie, more mummy, and everything's coming out and her arms caught in a sling. Microns, the Primsacolor markers, and these again. So that's all that is. There is nothing to read in this. It's tread. And I just thought of somebody leaving their footprints behind. And that's what we got here. There are many things wrong with this. His inside of his foot should be on the other side. But yeah, that's what I got there. And this is Tread. And these are microns and the Primsacolor gray markers. The thing I don't know what it is, and some gold. Treasure! So this was supposed to be a sundae, you know, one of those waffle sundaes. And once again, just the ballpoint pen. It did not work out as well as I'd hoped. And that's okay, because we learn from our mistakes. So that's that. I got to start getting really interesting with the bottom of my book here. So Inktober Ghost, that was day 22. And so I started out just using the Primsacolor and realized she was too faded. Couldn't see exactly what she was supposed to be. So I went back with a micron and actually put her in there. This probably would have been better with the ballpoint pen because you can control it. Wouldn't have been as dark, but that gives me an idea of how these act and interact with one another. So it wasn't a loss. Also, a chance to do hands. Every chance to do hands, take it, because man, they're hard. See, as you know, they bleed still. Okay. This one is Ancient. So this is an Ancient Tree. And this is day 23. Once again, Primsacolor, microns, the pen, I don't know what it's called, and the gold up there. And that's my tree. Not much to say here. No reference, just completely out of my brain. So, Spider-Man number 2 in this book, because I guess I was on a Spider-Man thing. Microns and Primsacolor markers. This one's dizzy because heights make me dizzy. Every time I see a Spider-Man movie and he's flying up over the city, oh my gosh. Yeah, dizzy city. So, this is Spider-Man. Alright, so that's where I stopped with Inktober. So that was like day 24. And started moving back into my normal sketchbook stuff. So this is a concept piece. Fully blown out concept piece. Except for any details and whatnot. But just kind of how I want to do it. And I still want to do this piece where she's so, you know, cold. And I really like it. But it needs some darker colors and some more details. So anyway, that's that piece. This is more concept art pieces. What you're supposed to use your sketchbook for. So here we have, friend wanted, and I was kind of coming up with the first ideas for that, and then my logo. And then there's another piece that's been going through my head, a couple of pieces that kind of went along with this one, for this. And this is more of a Renaissance fair style idea. So these are just quick little jot downs to jog my memory on what I want to do as far as pieces. Yeah, I love these guys because they're kind of funky looking little catfish guys. But these are more along the lines of what she wanted. So I think we ended up going with those. Okay, Baby Yoda. This was not successful. And I know why. As far as how I want to go about doing another piece of his. Of the baby, but I know why this one didn't work out. So once I go back and fix those problems, but I haven't figured out what picture I really want to do. But this is actually the day it came out, so I was like doing this off the TV, going quick. So my husband and my daughter and I, we were thinking of creatures and monsters to do. So I was kind of doing, what if the My Little Ponies and the big movie monsters kind of switched places. So this is My Little Pony Samara, and this is My Little Samara, or Samara and My Little Pony Samara. So what if they're going back and forth? So this is Samara from The Ring, and this is a My Little Pony version of Samara. Now I didn't keep with that, and I need to because I think it's fun and it makes me happy, and that's what matters. Okay. So, this one is Rihanna, and I was working with what pencils? Just whatever you have around the house, and working it out. So this is one of the, she was in some awards, and she was posing. So I took that picture and drew that. So, and I really like that. I think I did a pretty good job, and it shows more of my style and how I go about drawing things and doing things. It takes time, but yeah. So this is another concept. Lots of concepts. One day I'll get around to doing these. So a blue twilit in filigree jewelry. That was the only concept for this piece, so I'm hoping to get to that at some point. So I got on a Rihanna kick. This is for the video for Better Have My Money. That's where this one comes from. But still, you see my style and stuff in this, and I'm pretty happy with it. Just a quick picture of a horse. Not very good, but it was just kind of a concept idea. I'd seen a lot of these, and I just wanted to say, give myself something to go off of and try with, maybe if not necessarily a horse, maybe seahorses or something like that. I don't know. This was a dream I had, and I did that with, I don't have it here. It's a permanent marker. So it was like a helicopter firing on people. Yeah, I had a great dream that day. So I started a new job, and they had nothing for me, so I decided to take one of their pens. And not this pen in particular, they have a different pen. But this is, once again, another Disney pen. And it has all the different colors. So you can choose, you know, like that. It was that kind of pen. So I took the different colors and just kind of practiced drawing my arm, drawing hands, and kind of coming up with ideas of how the two colors mix together. This is what happens when I don't have a reference, or I'm not using my hand as a... It was close. I got close, but the knuckles don't work. But then you just look like you have sausage fingers, and that it just doesn't work. So you have to have a reference. I mean, great and good for you if you don't need one because you've drawn so many hands. Awesome. That's wonderful. But the majority of people, and even including the great masters, had to have something to go by. And unfortunately, I have to have something to go by. Otherwise, it turns out like sausage fingers. So I did do this one in Procreate. Just for fun. Another Harley Quinn. One of the more up-to-date ones. There's this. Just in pencil. Just whatever pencil I could grab. Probably this one. Same thing here. Now, okay, so I say... my favorite is Harley Quinn is from the Batman animated series, but I also like her more roller derby style. Love the roller derby style. It just fits her so well. And so this is me drawing that, and this is concept piece, which I refined, which is not on Redbubble, probably not for sale because, you know, it's licensed. But yeah, so that's Harley Quinn and roller derby style. This was a test with the permanent marker about how to draw mechs, you know, an easier way than just sitting there with the pencil and trying to draw it out. Just draw the silhouette. What is the silhouette of the thing that you're looking for, or the thing you're wanting to do, and then go from there and flesh it out from there. So that was me playing around with silhouettes on a mech. And that, my friends, is that. So thank you for joining me through this walk through 2019. Have a great day and enjoy quarantine life. Thanks so much.